can say the most common problem that people are facing on day-to-day life, weight gain, gaining weight, and we want to lose weight, we want to look younger.
And I had a very Bollywood style fall. So I broke my neck, broke my head, broke my spine, broke multiple parts of my body, broke my leg. I don't know how I survived, but I did. I was partially paralyzed on the right side of the body. It was very painful, very, very slow. And then a friend of mine basically introduced me to Silva, saying, hey, why don't you do this program? And it'll help you with recovery, it'll help you with pain management. And I didn't believe him. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how can a meditation program help with physical body recovery, right? Like, how is this all connected? And God bless him. I bless him even today. He actually gifted me the program. In fact, there's so many success stories for sleeping in Silva. Is I had somebody who was in insomnia for many years. Like she was taking pills. And with Silva Method, she was able to give up that pills. And now she sleeps absolutely without the use of drugs.
Okay, so hi all, welcome you all again in the brand new episode of Silva Talk Show. And let me take the pleasure to introduce you all with Pooja Arora. And she is a certified Silva Method instructor from Singapore. So hi Pooja, welcome to the Silva Talk Show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Devalina, for having me. I'm doing very well. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah. Very happy New Year to you, and very happy New Year to all of our audiences who are watching us here in this conversation. So, Pooja, today we are going to discuss on two amazing topics that even we can say the most common problem that people are facing on day-to-day life, mostly in this digital era. That uh, sleeplessness issues. We all want to sleep like a baby, but somehow we can't manage something like that, right? And the next most common issue is weight gain, gaining weight, and we want to lose weight, we want to look younger. So these two are, I believe, most common problem that we all are having in this current era. So we will
Mhm.
put some insights into these two problems, but before we begin these things, I want to hear from you, like how your journey has started with Silva Method.
Uh, how my journey with Silva Method has started.
Yeah.
It started a long time back. I'm currently in Singapore. I teach in Singapore, but my journey started in India. And my journey started actually with an accident. So I was 20 years old and I fell off what would be considered like first floor in India. It's considered second floor in Singapore. It was a high first floor and I think I blacked out and I had a very Bollywood style fall. So I broke my neck, broke my head, broke my spine, broke multiple parts of my body, broke my leg. I don't know how I survived, but I did. And when I came to, the doctors told me that my neck bone's broken and I was partially paralyzed on the right side of the body. And I was told I could never walk again. And I think the good part was I was a stubborn teenager. So at 20, I was like, are you kidding me? I can never walk again. I'm just starting my life. But the doctors were like, well, your neck bone's broken, so there's not much you can do about it. And I think that really shook me, shook my world, shook all the word view I had. And I started kind of figuring out how do I get better? How do I come out of the paralysis? And I think the progress was there. It was a bit slow progress. And I think that progress came from the power of my desire to get better. But it was very painful, very, very slow. And then a friend of mine basically introduced me to Silva, saying, hey, why don't you do this program? And it'll help you with recovery, it'll help you with pain management. And I didn't believe him. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how can a meditation program help with physical body recovery, right? Like, how is this all connected? And God bless him. I bless him even today. He actually gifted me the program. And now that somebody's done that, I went and attended the program. And that program then changed my life. It showed me the power of mind body healing. It showed me pain management. It showed me what's possible. So we're talking about sleep today. At that time, I was in so much pain that they were injecting daily painkillers and daily sleeping pills on me. And with Silva, I completely got off all the sleeping pills, all the painkillers. And it showed me what's the power of harnessing your mind. And I've never looked back. That was in 1998 when I did Silva. And I've been working on it, using it, moving from strength to strength with Silva Method. And I became an instructor many years back because I believe it's such an amazing modality.
Wow, that's so inspiring to hear the story from you, and I believe people will find so much inspiration from the story at the beginning only. So thank you so much, Pooja, for sharing your story, like how it all started. So, like the thing that I was talking about these two issues. So let's first talk about the sleep problem,
Mhm.
and this is quite becoming quite common, not only for the adults, for the childs, for the children also, right? For the kids also, they are also nowadays suffering more stress, and they are also suffering depression, and as a result they are getting the insomnia issues. So let's find out the root causes first, like what are the main causes that are actually causing us the sleeplessness issues for the kids also and for the adults.
I think some causes can be very practical. Like a lot of us, we are addicted to our devices, and that causes a lot of
Hmm.
brain activity, brain movement just before sleeping. So
Hmm.
I think that addiction to the devices, or that addiction to high moving images that we are kind of used to now, especially for kids, that causes a lot of issues. But I think the bigger part of our problem tends to be overthinking. So we keep thinking about things, keep running through what's happening in our lives. We kind of in scenarios of what if we could have done this, think about the past and say what we could have done differently, think about the future, worry about what might happen. So I think a lot, many times, that keeps us awake, that keeps us, our minds busy, and we lead to sleeplessness. I think the last thing that really causes sleeplessness is physical body issues. Like I mentioned, I was in pain and that didn't allow me to sleep. But sometimes physical body discomfort also
Hmm.
leads to sleeplessness. So it could be mental, it could be physical, or it could be just our environment, which is kind of not conducive to sleeping, that can affect us all.
Yeah, so like, yeah, so that means like three issues can be there behind the root cause of sleeplessness problem. So like if we, like, is there any particular one meditation using which we can address all these three issues, or for all the three issues there are separate meditations that we can offer using Silva method?
So Silver Method has this beautiful section. We almost cover half a day on managing sleep. And there are four things we learn in that Silva Method sleep section. The first one really is to how to go to sleep peacefully. And I think for the people who have too much worry, too much kind of anxiety in their heads, that
Hmm.
is really amazing. That we have a modality, it's called the sleep control, where we teach people how do you train your mind to sleep without the use of any drugs. You're able to completely, deeply fall off to sleep. In addition, Silva
Yeah.
Method offers two or three different other things. So one is to how to wake up without an alarm clock, using the body's natural alarm clock. And what that does is that allows you to wake up refreshed, that allows you to start your day with a zinc versus even after sleeping, you wake up and you feel down and depressed. That doesn't work that well. And what that does eventually in the next sleep cycle is if you had a good day, that you end up sleeping well. So it builds in a cycle of sleeping. The third
Hmm.
method which we use in Silva for sleep is if you are falling asleep but you don't need to fall asleep. So suppose you have a presentation in the night or in the morning, or you have an exam you need to study and you're feeling sleepy, but for that small period of time, you want to keep yourself awake. We learn that too, and we learn how do we harness our dreams to answer our
Hmm.
questions. So the first two of these, how do you sleep better with the sleep control and wake up better with the alarm clock technique, is probably the best uses for allowing your mind to calm down, for allowing your mind to kind of go calmer and calmer and then go off to sleep. In
Yeah.
addition, what Silva Method offers is things like lab and counselors, or just going to your level, which is your deep subconscious mind. And just those continuous practice will allow you to fall deeper as you go down, as you practice your Silva Method exercises. So there are a number of tools that can allow us to calm our mind, to quieten the mind, to take out the anxiety, to take out the worry, and just have a good night's sleep. And it's quite amazing if we manage to have a good night's sleep, how amazing our next day goes, and our next day goes, and our next day goes.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And also, like Pooja, I have also seen these things that people have, during the class, also people used to tell that, yeah, this two things, that sleep control and alarm clock, these two, actually, these two techniques are giving results during this 4 days of class to the
Yes.
people. These two techniques are giving fastest results, I believe.
Absolutely. In fact, we teach that in day one. So we ask our students not to put an alarm clock for day two, day three, day four, right? And in
Hmm.
that time itself, the students are able to use that technique and get up better and sleep better. In fact, there's so many
Yes.
success stories for sleeping in Silva. Is I had somebody who was an insomnia for many years. Like she was
Okay.
taking pills, and with Silva Method, she was able to give up that pills, and now she sleeps absolutely without the use of drugs. We've had
Wow.
people who wake up in the middle of the night multiple times. Again, they were basically either tired or popping a pill at 3 a.m. to try and sleep. Again, with the use of Silva Method, they've been able to get away from that. So there are tons of success stories of Silva graduates who have started using Silva Method for better, longer, peaceful sleep.
Yeah,
But
that's
if I go
true.
back to the
So,
second thing, so this was about kind of the issue with the busy mind, right? For the issue with the environment, I think that's just about habit control. So with Silva, we have multiple tools, especially with Mirror of the Mind. We start getting into habit control where we can put away our devices half an hour before sleeping. So we start making lifestyle changes. And again, Silva Method has tools to allow you to do that. So that coupled with the sleep techniques can again deepen your sleep journey. And lastly, we were talking about pain or physical body management. Again, in Silva Method, there are tools to deal with pain, to deal with headaches, to deal with managing different aspects of your body and finding comfort in your own physical body. So, again, doing those before we do the sleep technique can help take care of those aspects of sleeplessness as well. So,
yeah.
Silva Method has a variety of tools which you can start combining if you have more than one issues that are troubling you and allowing you to sleep, not allowing you to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, like Pooja, for example, as you were telling that about one person who has taken the class from you, who was having the insomnia issue for longer period of time, and that person was taking the pills. So, for those person, how long actually it took, or like for say like they have, for example, let me take a example like. I am having my shifts, my office timings in the morning, in the early
Mhm.
morning. Okay, and I am having insomnia issue, and in the night I'm taking pills. Without pills, I'm not able to fall asleep, and like then I have taken the course, and
Right.
now I will be in a dilemma that what if I am not able to fall asleep, and what if I am not able to wake up in the morning using the alarm clock, if I am not setting up the alarm in my mobile, and if I'm not taking the pills. So this dilemma I think is quite common to, like, for all those people who are having this kind of issues. So what will be your guidance for them then?
So, as I said, so in Singapore, we offer Silva Method as a 4-day course. And I tell them that the safe space to start trying it is from day two onwards. And I will not penalize them if they don't come on time the next day. So they can use this as a safe space. So on day two, on day
Yeah.
three, on day four, they can use that time when they have to come to the course any case. So they're not going to their work or anywhere else. So it's a low pressure state, if you may, to start trying out the techniques. And that's a safe space for them to even fail because then I can guide them on, okay, if that thing didn't work. In Silva Method, we have a value which says there is no failure, only feedback. So if the technique didn't work, why it didn't work, or how they could tweak to make it work, and then they can go back and try the next day. So we encourage them
Yeah,
to
yeah.
try
Okay.
it.
Perfect,
The
perfect.
end
And
goal is at the end of 4 days, they have trust in their own mind. Because in the end, these questions on whether I will wake up or whether I will go to sleep comes from an a sense of, can I trust my own mind to do what I'm supposed to do? And as we go through the course, as we practice through the course, we have a lot of psychometry exercises, we have a lot of other exercises to build trust in the power of your own mind. And when we build
Yeah.
trust in the power of our own mind, then sleep becomes easy. So, in any case, they get to
Yes.
practice it during the course itself, but then also we're building a trust in their own mind, which they can then build on as they
Hmm.
go forward. The other thing I
Yes.
tell my
Exactly.
graduates is find small wins and document small
Okay.
wins. So, for
Okay.
example, if they tried 2 days and one day they woke up on time, document it and celebrate it and share it with people. Say, hey, my alarm clock worked today. And that again builds a feedback mechanism which will allow that alarm clock to work again and again and again. So that reinforces the belief system, that reinforces the power of the method, that reinforces the actual tools, and again, the trust that your mind can work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an great thing. Like, yeah, like giving rewards on small things, or celebrating the small successes that we keep on getting on our everyday life. It's a great thing. Yeah, and yeah, and like for those people who are getting a lot of nightmares, they wake up in the night multiple times, getting a lot of nightmares. So, what will be your suggestion for them?
So I would say again, there are two aspects of it. One is there's a technique called dream control in Silva Method. So they can start using dream control to get an idea or a guidance of what is the nightmare trying to tell them, if any. Right?
Yeah.
So they can start kind of compartmentalizing that nightmare to say, okay, let me just try and get a dream to get understanding of that nightmare. So I can resolve it, I can solve it. Is the nightmare that my boss is chasing me and I'll lose my job? And then we have tools. Once we understand that that's what the nightmare is telling us, then we have
Hmm.
tools to work with that worry. You can use mirror of the mind, you can use intuition techniques, all to kind of figure out what really is happening with my job. Why do I have that fear that I will get fired, which is causing that nightmare? Along with that, we have the silver sleep exercises. So if you wake up, if you kind of come up, wake up because of the nightmare and you feel like terrified, you take few minutes to calm yourself down. You can go back to alpha, you can go to your lab, and then use the silver sleep technique to go back to sleep again. So when we
Yeah.
do that, we do a combination of the two. We tell our mind, hey, I heard you. Nightmare is your mind telling you something, right? So you're saying, hey, I heard you. Give me more information so I can help solve whatever it is that you're trying to tell me. The
Hmm.
brain tends to calm down and give you that information. It feels acknowledged in that sense, right? And then we use our sleep techniques to then deepen our sleep and go better and better with that. So it's a several techniques can help you really come out of nightmares if you're having recurring nightmares.
Yeah, that's good. So that means, like, if we keep on having the nightmares, then the best thing is to practice dream control along with the sleep and alarm clock techniques, right? And then at night when we will wake up, we will again try to calm us using maybe short relaxation, or maybe just 3 to 1, and then going in the bit relaxing state, and then again do the sleep control to fall asleep. So by practicing this, will it be possible to get rid of this nightmares and waking up multiple times in night?
Yes, I think the only other thing I would add on is that as we kind of do the dream control, we get information. What's the nightmare trying to tell us? Is the
Hmm.
nightmare trying
Yeah.
to tell us, oh, I'm afraid that my children will get hurt? Or is the nightmare trying to tell us, I'm afraid that I will fail at a public presentation? Like, what is it that the nightmare is trying to tell us? And then we can use some of the other silver techniques to start addressing that issue. So,
Yeah.
along with the
Okay.
sleep techniques, when we understand what the nightmare is telling us, we can use some of the other sleep technique, other silver techniques to start addressing that issue. So, if I'm worried for, say, public speaking, I can do a mirror of the mind, I can do a finger technique where I can really deliver a very good public speech. And then that
Yeah.
should take away the nightmare of public speaking if that's happening.
Okay, yeah. So that means, like, if we are getting the nightmare, first thing we have to do is, like, we have to understand why we are getting this nightmare, and then we are using the other Silva techniques to resolve this issue so that we won't get it, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's that. That makes sense. Yeah. So, like, what about those people? Like, I have heard that so many people are telling that I fall asleep normally, naturally within few minutes when I go to bed. So, is it actually needed for me to do the sleep control, or I can skip this technique? So, what will be the answer for these people?
I think I normally say the alarm clock technique, which is to wake up without the use of alarm clock, is something I
Hmm.
recommend for 100% of the people. So even if you have a natural body clock, doing that helps us gain that control over your mind. So at the beginning, for example, you'll set an alarm clock and say, I want to wake up at 6:30. And sometimes you wake up by 6:10, 6:15, sometimes 6:35, and you
Hmm.
wake up around that time. But over a period of time, I have graduates who set alarm for 6:17 and they wake up at
Hmm.
6:17. It becomes that precise, right? It's not
Hmm.
just, oh, I'll wake up in the general 20-minute area,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will wake up at
Exactly.
6:19 a.m. And
Hmm.
that is how you learn how do you start controlling your body through your mind.
Yeah.
So it's not just about waking up, it's about kind
Hmm.
of getting into practice of saying, hey, can my body listen to me if I program my mind? And then when
Yeah.
we start working on disease controls, the health, the weight we're talking about later, etc., we have a better grasp of that mind body connection with that alarm clock technique. The actual sleep technique of doing the zero and then using that to go to sleep, if you're falling asleep naturally, sometimes people even started, they do the zero and they're falling asleep already. So for me, that
Yes. Yes.
is up to you whether you use it or not. But I tell my students to
Hmm.
definitely use the alarm clock every day, whether you need it or not, because that is
Yeah.
building the mind body connection.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's great. Yeah. So I believe we have covered almost so many things about like sleep. What are the problems that causing us to the sleeplessness issues, and exactly which techniques we are having in this silver method that we can offer people to, so that they can use and they can get rid of sleeplessness issues, they can get rid of the sleeping pills, they can get rid of the nightmares, and most importantly they can get rid of the alarm thing, the external alarm thing. Yeah, they can set up the clock in this in our body circadian cycle only, so that we can wake up. So thank you so much, Pooja, for covering giving insights of so many things. So now let's discuss about on this one more amazing topic, like how to lose weight using silver method. So this thing I believe is more common, gaining more and more weight after eating so much of junk foods that are available right now, so many ready to cook foods. So what are the main causes that actually help us gaining weight rather than eating too much?
Mhm. Sure. So I think the weight gain is tends to be a slightly more complex topic. Now, there's a physical aspect to weight gain, right? Like you're eating more and you're exercising less. Most people know that will lead to weight gain.
Yeah.
But for me, the question becomes everybody knows how to lose weight. Eat less, exercise more, you lose weight, right? But why do we struggle with that? We struggle with that
Yeah.
because even though we know, we can't do it, right?
Yeah. Correct.
And like, oh, I've decided I'm not going to have sweets, and suddenly there's a plate of jalebi, and you're like, oh, maybe today I will have
Mhm.
one, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
even though we know
We
what
will
we need
again
to do,
resume
we can't
from the
execute
next
it.
Monday, something like this. So we keep on doing. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it boils down to two things. One is sometimes willpower. It boils down to your fact of how much your mind can, as I said, control your body. The second thing that boils down to is emotions, because a lot of people will talk about emotional eating or stress eating. A lot of people will say, okay, I went through a heartbreak and then I put on a lot of weight, or
Yeah.
something happened
Mhm.
in my life that emotions kind of got stuck with me. I was so angry that I put on a lot of weight. So those
Hmm.
are two big aspects of weight. One is the full willpower of kind of managing yourself, and the second is
Hmm.
the emotions that come with that. I think the third, if I could even talk a little bit about that, is truly a desire to lose weight. A lot of people will say, of course, I want to lose weight, right? But if you probe that a little bit more, so in Silva, we talk a lot about desire and belief and expectancy. So,
Yeah.
why do you want to lose weight? Oh, because everybody is thin. right? But why do you want to lose weight? Oh, maybe because I'll probably look good. And you keep clicking down and you're like, yeah, I have a list of things to do, and losing weight is like 10th on my list. It's there, but it's on 10th on my
Yeah.
list. So
Yes.
sometimes we kind of have it at the back of our mind, but we don't have real desire to do it. It's one of the things that,
Exactly.
yeah, it will be good to do, but we don't do that. So in all of this, I normally start with the desire first. Do you really, really, really want to lose weight? Is it your priority over the next six
Yes.
months, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, right? And if it is not, there's no harm in acknowledging to say, hey, you know what? Right now, it's not a priority for me. Or to say, hey, I've suddenly got a medical scare and now I need to lose weight, or I have a wedding to attend to, I need to lose weight, it's a priority. So you'll see that, right? Like, oh, I'll lose weight. And suddenly you have a wedding to attend and suddenly you lose weight because it
Yeah.
suddenly became a priority. The desire
Exactly.
increased. So the first thing to do with weight loss is to understand your desire. What is it that you truly want? And then in that desire, what would be nice to have and what is your true desire? So, for example, I would like to lose 20 kgs. That'll be really nice to go back to my, say, college weight. But truly, truly, if I lose 10 kgs, I'm okay. Right. So the goal then is not the 20 kgs because that will, like, yeah, that's my dream. But my
Yeah.
goal really is 10 kgs because I'll be okay. And that's important to know what really is your goal, right? So the first is a desire, and second is to really understand your goal for weight loss that comes through. Then we talked about the two things, the willpower and the emotions. Now, with Silva Method, we use this amazing technique called mirror of mind, which we use for weight loss. We use for any habit change, actually, where we start looking into what would it feel like to lose weight. So we look at many aspects of it. The first thing we can start programming is we can start programming that foods that don't work for our body don't attract us. So
Yeah.
we can start programming that the jalebis are not that tasty, right? We can start programming that cakes are okay. A piece of fruit will give me same satisfaction as cake. So we can start programming on your key foods and start saying, hey, you know what? These foods don't have to go into me and I can get the same satisfaction. So you're not depriving yourself. You can say, I get the
Yeah.
same satisfaction that get from eating an apple crumble by eating an apple, right? So I don't need to eat an apple crumble. I can just eat an apple and be as happy about it. I
Yeah.
don't need to eat a cake. I have a slice of bread and I'll be as satiated about it. So you don't end up craving things, but you end up kind of reprogramming your mind to say, I'm satiated with things which are healthy for me. And that's the
Yeah.
first aspect of it. The second aspect of it is we start kind of programming how we would look like, how would we feel like when we have lost the weight, right? So we use a program called Mirror of the Mind, where we start projecting into how does that look like. And we not only use our feelings, our emotions, but we use the feelings and emotions of other people around us. How would they react? How would my doctor react to see me 10 kgs lose? How would my boyfriend react? How would my mother react, etc.? So you start kind of projecting different people's emotions, your own emotions. How would that word look like? How would my wardrobe look like when we have lost the weight? So we're building in what we call as expectancy of what would happen if you've already lost the weight. And when we start doing these two in parallel, we start keeping doing the mirror of the minds around the foods, maybe around exercise, we start building and programming to say, I'm exercising daily, or whatever that is your weight loss regime, whatever you know that works for you for weight loss. You start building that in, you start programming that in. That can really help change kind of where you are from a weight loss perspective and get you to where you need to go.
Yes, yeah, true. So, like, I believe the first thing that we need to do is like we need to be honest with us, right? So, before doing or taking any resolution, kind of this, like losing weight or getting healthy body, getting healthy hair, getting healthy skin, the first thing we need to do is like we need to honest with us. We need to spend more time with us to know ourselves in much better way, so that we can do things naturally within us, within ourselves. So, like Pooja, for one more thing about the weight loss, that here we talk about like the foods that are actually not good for us. We need to replace the food with something that is good for our body, and we need to convince our mind that yeah, these foods are same satisfactory. This food will work satisfactory with us, rather than this dairy products or sugar products. So what about the exercise kind of a thing, that one more common issue that we always think about this, like no, from this Friday we are going to start this exercise, the gym, the yoga classes, but anyhow we are doing procrastinating things, we are keep delaying the things. So how to get rid of this problem, this issue?
Right. So I think there are again two aspects of it. One a practical aspect and one with the Silva we do that. I normally
Yeah.
guide my students to do something called as a pattern tracking. So I would say, okay, suppose you say I'm going to go for yoga tomorrow, right?
Hmm.
Then start writing down what's the pattern. So I have to go for yoga, I say 8 a.m., right? At 7 a.m. I get up. I'm at night I'm decided still. I'll get to yoga at
Hmm.
8 a.m. But at 7 a.m.
Hmm.
wake up and like, oh, I would rather have coffee. And then, oh, my clothes are there, but who's going to bother? Oh, my clothes are not washed, or whatever that might be, right? And then we end up not going to the gym. So I get
Yeah.
them to write down what is the pattern that the habit is happening.
Okay.
And once you have a pattern, it's easy to break it, right? So again, if it's your desire to go to the yoga at 8 a.m., you realize the pattern is, or you feel like, oh, in the morning, who's going to iron my yoga t-shirt? I'm just making it up, right? So in the night, you already iron and keep it. So that takes away that excuse, if you may, right? So over
Yeah.
a period
Okay.
of time, you start identifying the patterns and you start breaking it, assuming, of course, you have a desire to go. And then using the same mirror of the mind technique, you can start kind of putting a three finger mirror of the mind to say, okay, today my thing is I don't go to yoga, but then from now onwards, from my next frame, which I'm visualizing is I'm going to yoga, I feel really good about it. My body is feeling very flexible, etc., etc. And I normally again tell my students that when they feel really good about an exercising in the mirror of the mind, they lock it with the three fingers. So when in the morning you're feeling,
Hmm.
who's going, you can put the three fingers together and remind yourself how
Okay.
good
Okay.
you will
Yeah.
feel after the exercise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that also helps you get over the pattern. So you can start using mirror of the mind, three fingers, but at a very practical level of pattern interrupt as well to start breaking up your exercise pattern. However, there's one more thing
Yeah.
I'm going to say is
Hmm.
not everybody likes the same exercise. So, for example, if your boyfriend has lost a lot of weight by going to the gym and he's been
Hmm.
telling you, you must go to the gym, you must go to the gym may not work
Yeah.
out for you. And the reason for the procrastination is you hate the gym. You don't want to go to the gym. Find
Yeah.
out
That's.
what you like doing. So, what might work for you is getting into dance exercise, right? And the Zumba beats might get you excited and going, and you're excited to go there, not going to lift weights, which might work for another friend of yours. So,
Yeah.
in the exercise routine, you have to figure out which is the one that gets you excited. Again, it goes back to the desire, it goes back to the honesty you're saying it. In the plethora of exercising, where is it that I'm excited to go? It could also be your body limitations. So if you have a knee problem, you may not be able to do much except walk. So
Yeah.
let's start there. Let's start with the walking, right? So identify an exercise that you like and that you can do.
Yeah.
Then you do the pattern interrupt, then you do the mirror of the mind programming, then you put the three finger together, and then you break that cycle of procrastination.
Okay, okay. That's great. So first step will be identifying the patterns that we are following, and that is causing us doing becoming more and more procrastinated. Write it down. Then like identify each and every parts of this pattern, and then work on these parts, right? And
Absolutely.
then doing mirror of the mind simultaneously.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Mirror of the mind and three
any other.
fingers are very good for exercising.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I believe mirror of the mind is one of the most amazing exercise in Silva Method, because like,
It
yeah.
is. Mirror of the mind
So
is one of the most used exercise, I would say.
yes, mirror of the mind, most used exercise in everything. We can use this technique, I believe. So
Absolutely.
one of my favorites also.
Like
Okay,
that.
so like one more thing, I believe that. causes a stress, overweight is stress, eating from stress, right? When we get got stressed, too stressed, maybe after breakup, or maybe the problem that I used to have when I was in hospital, that I, whenever I do miss my home, my parents, my family, I used to eat a lots of chocolates and ice cream. So this thing is one more common thing, I believe. So what can be your suggestion for this problem?
I think for Silva Method, it's again where Silva Method is fantastic for stress management. And for that, a
Hmm.
regular practice on going to alpha, which is kind of where we reach at a light meditative state, or going to your
Yeah.
lab and connecting with your counselors, those are really good techniques on regular stress management. So if you're doing those on a regular basis, you will generally see that your stress level is lower and lower and lower. And then you can start programming. If you know, for example, like what you just said there, Belina, you know that when you miss your parents, you tend to eat ice
Hmm.
cream and chocolate. So what you can then
Hmm.
do is just general go to a lab, go to counts, go to alpha on an everyday basis. That'll help in general. But on very particular, you can start replacing that with something else. So for example, you can kind of say in the mirror of the mind, right now, when you miss your family, you eat a chocolate. And you replace it by say, when I miss my family, have a glass of water. And that'll have the same
Yeah.
impact. So you can start changing kind of what you eat when you're stressed. So in a way, you're doing two-step process. One is you're reducing your step by going to alpha, going to lab on a regular basis. And that meditation will keep your stress levels down. Secondly, even if you are doing a bit of stress eating, you can program to change what you eat, and you can program
Yes.
it to healthier things. So, for example, when I was doing something similar, I programmed to change that carrot and hummus would be my go to snack. So I could eat as many carrots as I wanted, and nothing really would happen because that's the programming I did for my mind.
I believe we have discussed on so many things, and mainly for this, I think one more issue is like for this weight loss, mainly for the teenagers, for the college going girls, they want to lose extreme weight. For they are seeing their favorite actress, and they are taking their picture or them as a model, their idol model, and they are doing everything. They are not eating at all, doing extreme exercises to lose unnecessary weight. So what will be your suggestion for them, for these little ones who are like how to manage the things, how to manage the emotions, how to like manage the desire? They are actually having that much of burning desire to attain that zero figure, right? So how they can manage this emotional balance at this age?
But I would say boil down to feeling accepted and feeling wanted and feeling loved. So
Yeah.
if I kind of the external projection is, oh, if I become like Katrina Kaif, then people will look at me. I will get the attention I will need, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not really that I want to become like Katrina Kaif. I want that attention that comes with that.
Yeah.
So I think the key thing I would use with them is lab and counselors. So I
Okay.
would go to the lab and counselors and say, okay, what's really causing me my need for that attention, that need for that affection, need to look a certain way. And I would get the counselors to guide me on what really is causing that. I
Uh-huh.
could do invite a younger child or maybe invite Katrina Kaif there and say, what would be your advice to me? Then have that conversation. And they will realize very soon that what is bothering them is their own need. And then if I add the mirror of the mind back again, it tends to be a popular technique. I would see them getting all they need, but with a healthy body size,
Yeah.
right? So they get the attention, they get the approval, all of that, but with a very healthy body size. Then the desire to do that unnecessary weight loss goes away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
boils down to understanding what's driving that extreme weight loss. And that's
Yes.
usually a call for attention, a need to be looked at, a need to be loved, a need to be recognized. And that's something if they can address using various tools that can help.
And that is the most amazing part about Silva Method, that I love the most, is it's one of the most customizable thing. You can customize it in every possible way you want to. So that is one of the best thing about Silva Method, I believe so. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so I believe we have covered almost all the things, the basic things that a person can have before, taking the class, or before coming to the courses, the home study programs that Silva Internationals are offering. So before we wrap up today's session, Pooja, please let us know when is your next class.
So in Singapore, we just finished a class in December, and our next class is in April. It's April 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th in
Okay,
Singapore.
okay, perfect, perfect. So we will make sure to include all these details of your class and your website in the description box, so that people, if they want, they can connect with you. They can come back to you for your suggestions, for your valuable advices, and for your class.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for all those watching. Thank you for letting me share my passion for Silva with you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.